My brother lost his job, so I took in his whole family and paid every bill. Then at dinner, he toasted to Uncle Mike, our pathetic sugar daddy. They all laughed. Then he sneered. Let's be honest, what else has he got? No wife, no kids, just a sad little life and spare change. Even his bratty teen daughter laughed in my face. I stared them down and said, "Enjoy your last free meal ever." 2 days later, I did something they didn't expect. 3 months ago, I opened my home to my brother Tom, his wife Rachel, and their 2 kids. Tom had been laid off, blindsided by a round of corporate downsizing that came with no warning. I was sympathetic. I know how hard it is to rebuild your life after a setback like that. I didn't hesitate when he called me. My guest room was always empty, and I figured I could manage a little extra on my grocery bills. Back then, I thought I was doing the right thing. Tom and I were never exactly close, but we weren't distant either. We just lived different lives. He married young, had 2 kids before 30, and worked in logistics. I stayed single, focused on my IT consultancy work, and never saw the need to settle. We drifted, but there was always that undercurrent of family loyalty. The idea that no matter how different we were still brothers. That idea broke a little the night he moved in. They arrived late, lugging suitcases and garbage bags filled with clothes. Rachel looked like she hadn't slept in days. The kids, Ella and Mason, practically sprinted to the spare bedroom and started arguing over who'd get the bed. I gave them both a tired smile and helped haul their stuff inside. For the first few weeks, I cooked dinner every night. I paid for the groceries, the utilities, covered their cell phone bills, even slipped Tom some cash for job applications and clothes to wear to interviews. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself family helps family. But temporary started to feel permanent fast. Rachel stopped looking for work after week 2. She said she'd wait until Tom was employed again, but I'd catch her scrolling TikTok all afternoon. Tom said he was applying everywhere, but I started noticing he never left the house. I work from home, and every day I'd hear the Xbox humming from the living room around 11 a.m. Ella, now 16, took over the bathroom for hours and started referring to my car as her ride to school. Mason left his dishes in the sink like I was their unpaid dishwasher. Still, I kept quiet. I figured they were adjusting, until last Friday night. We were having a late dinner, spaghetti and garlic bread. I had just come off a long client call and was still in my work clothes, laptop closed only minutes before. I was tired, but I sat down, poured myself a glass of wine, and joined them at the table. That's when it happened. Tom raised his glass and smiled. He was already a few beers in, his voice a little louder than it needed to be. Then came the words, "To Uncle Mike, our pathetic sugar daddy." The table erupted with laughter. Rachel chuckled, even though she tried to mask it. Ella giggled and repeated the phrase under her breath. Mason snorted and added something about how I must like being their butler. I was frozen for a second, my glass halfway to my lips. They weren't joking in that friendly, roast your brother kind of way. There was a real sting in Tom's eyes, a kind of smugness I hadn't seen in years. Then he leaned back and added the kicker. Let's be honest, what else has he got? No wife, no kids, just a sad little life and spare change. And the laughter grew louder. Even Ella, the brat who borrowed my car without asking, laughed in my face. I stared them down, not angry, not shouting, just quiet. Then I said it. Enjoy your last free meal ever. And I got up, walked out, and locked myself in my room. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at my desk staring at the wall. Every time I thought about Tom's smug grin or Ella's cackle, I felt this slow-burning fire in my gut. I didn't know them this. I didn't deserve this. They treated me like a joke in my own house after I saved theirs. The next morning, I was quiet. I went through my usual motions, showered, worked, kept the peace, but in the background, I was planning. They thought I'd keep being the nice guy, the soft uncle, the spare change bank with no spine. 2 days later, they found out just how wrong they were. By Sunday morning, the mood in the house had shifted. Not that they noticed. Tom was still in his boxers by noon, watching some action movie like nothing had happened. Rachel was scrolling through her phone on my couch like it was hers. Ella and Mason were arguing over who drank the last soda from my fridge. They had no idea I was already making moves. That morning, I met with my property manager friend for coffee. I told him the situation. He raised an eyebrow and said, "So, you want them out fast but clean?" I nodded. He offered advice, legal steps, and a timeline. I took notes. I wasn't going to do anything shady, just swift. I started by cutting off the luxuries. Wi-Fi password changed. Streaming accounts logged out. My car keys hidden. I left a printed bus schedule on the kitchen counter. Rachel asked what happened to the internet. I told her the bill didn't feel worth it anymore. She didn't laugh that time. Next, I called the utilities and removed their names from access. Any groceries I bought were locked in my bedroom mini fridge. I cooked only for myself. I was civil, calm, just done. That night, I walked into the living room with 3 envelopes. Inside each one was a printed note. Tom said, "You have 7 days to find another couch to crash on." Rachel's, "This is not your home. Don't get comfortable." And Ella's, "Hope you find a new ride to school. This one's off duty." Tom started to argue. I didn't respond. Just looked at him until he stopped talking. For once, the house was quiet. They thought I was spineless. But I wasn't the same brother they remembered. They just didn't know it yet. By Monday, the silence in the house had turned sour. Tom stomped around like a caged animal, muttering under his breath. Rachel avoided eye contact, suddenly aware that her endless lounging wasn't invisible anymore. Ella had the nerve to ask if I could drop her off at school. I didn't say a word, just stared at her until she walked away. That night, Tom tried to confront me, the old Tom, the bark with no bite version. He asked if I was seriously kicking out his whole family. I told him calmly that I wasn't kicking them out. I was just reclaiming my space. I'd given them a lifeline, and they'd mocked the hand that fed them. He didn't have much to say after that. On Tuesday, I handed him a list of nearby shelters, cheap motels, and food pantry locations. I also gave him the number of a warehouse hiring part-time night shifts. I'd even circled it. I didn't do it out of spite. I did it to show him what actual help looked like. Not free rent and groceries, but dignity, work, reality. Rachel looked pale. Ella rolled her eyes. Mason just sat on the couch hugging his knees. It was the first time I saw any of them quiet. Then came Wednesday move-out day. They left in a rush, stuffing their things into trash bags, muttering about how unfair I was. Tom didn't look me in the eye. Rachel said nothing. Ella flipped me off as they backed out of the driveway in Tom's barely running SUV. I watched from the porch, not angry, not smug, just done. And for the first time in months, my house was mine again, clean, quiet, and free. The house was quiet again, not the kind of silence that hangs heavy with tension, the kind I'd gotten used to over the past few months, but something deeper, cleansing. The kind of silence you only notice after months of being stepped over, dismissed, laughed at in your own home. After they drove off, I sat on the couch with a cup of coffee that was still hot, still mine. No one had touched the creamer. No one had left a crusted plate in the sink. No one had hijacked the remote or sprawled across the cushions like they paid rent. It hit me slowly. I wasn't angry anymore, not even sad. I felt clear. Later that day, I cleaned their rooms. Ella had left posters taped to the wall, lip gloss stains on the mirror, and candy wrappers stuffed under the bed. Mason's space was easier, just some torn notebooks and a few Lego pieces. In Tom and Rachel's room, I found one of my throw blankets bundled into their suitcase pile like it belonged to them now. I took it back. I didn't throw away their things, just packed up the remains and labeled the boxes. I sent Tom a short message. "Your boxes are in the garage. Pick up within a week or they're going to storage." No response. It was strange how quickly things settled after that. The fridge stayed stocked longer. The water bill dropped. I could finally take a shower in the morning without someone banging on the door. But it was more than convenience. I felt like I had taken back something invisible that I didn't realize I'd given up. Self-respect. Tom and I weren't close growing up. He was always the golden one, the athletic older brother, the one who got cheered at school games while I sat in the tech lab fixing cables. Our parents fed that dynamic. I got called reliable. He got called impressive. I used to think I was okay being the background character in my own family, that being helpful was enough, that if I stayed quiet, stayed useful, they'd respect me eventually. That dinner proved otherwise. It wasn't just a joke. It was everything they thought about me bubbling out like it always wanted to. I was the backup plan, the doormat, the safety net, the sugar daddy, the pathetic brother who they thought would never fight back because I never had. And maybe I hadn't, until now. It's funny. After they left, I got a message from Rachel. Short, 2 sentences. "I know Tom went too far, but we didn't think you'd actually do this. What are we supposed to do now?" I didn't reply. I just archived it. That wasn't cruelty. That was closure. A week later, a friend asked if I regretted it, turning away family. I said, No, because helping someone doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. And loving someone doesn't mean letting them walk all over you. They made their choices. I made mine. And if peace comes at the price of disappointing people who only loved me when I gave them something, then peace is worth it. If you enjoyed this story and want more just like it, don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps bring these stories to life. And trust me, we've got even more jaw-dropping ones coming soon. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a chapter. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes silence is the loudest revenge.